Hello everyone and welcome back to the round 16, welcome back to Mind Talks NRL SuperCoach. Welcome to the round 16 wrap-up stream. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit less footy this weekend, so maybe you spent a little bit more time with your loved ones out there, or you just said, nah, doesn't matter, there's games on, see ya. I missed a couple of games, but otherwise it was a good weekend overall. A lot of big talking points out of this week. Probably feels like more so than what we had in round 13. But great to see so many of you already in the chat, which is awesome as always. Slender's Pet, Jake Young, Benny G, Big Smudge, Josh Wallace, Steers is viewing, Tony Vo, Corey. Great to see so many people already in the chat, which is awesome. Give the stream a like as well if you do enjoy it. It's my 40th in 10 days. I need something special. Earlier. I was supposed to write you a poem for your birthday last year, but I never did on 4th of July. Oh my God. The fact that you remember that, Josh, and you got one in, 10 days? I'm going to have to put a reminder on my phone. So that's, the Wednesday, not next week, but the week after. For the 40th, we've got to make that. We've got to make that special. Don't worry. Let's do it right now. Poem for Josh Wallace. And I'm going to set it for not next week's, but the week after's, the 30th. There you go. Done. It's in the phone. It's locked and loaded. We're ready to go. Great to see so many of you already as well. Moz, Deke, so scored 10.93 this round, which feels pretty good, I think, this week. So if none of you are aware, you can actually check your live rankings. If you go to leagues, if you're in an overall league, just see what your total points was from last round, add whatever you're on this week, and just start. You can sort by total points, and it will include this week's score. If you're in an overall league, just scroll down until you get to your total points, and you can actually see where you're sitting, and it'll actually show you your projected live rank. So at the moment, mine, I had a screenshot open before, so I can't get it up on screen, but so with 1093 at the moment, so I was sitting at 6,500, projected to get up to 3,939. So that's 2,600 green arrow, which would actually be quite nice, get inside the top 4,000, a little bit closer to that top 1,000 goal. So that would be pretty good. Obviously, that's not completely accurate. It does change slightly come lockout tomorrow, but we'll tell the missus to unplug the microwave at the wall. Look, the TV is on downstairs. There's a few appliances on. No guarantees about what will go down with the internet here on this one, but hopefully it's all good to go. 11-12 this week, thinking that should be green arrows. Yeah, Big Smudge. That does feel like green arrows. I think 1050 seems the par. I put a poll up on Twitter. Most of the votes were in the 1,000 to 1,100. So just meeting in the middle, 1050 seems about right. So 1093 at my rank of about just 6,500 looks like a couple of thousand green arrows. So that's actually pretty good. So that maybe suggests pars closer to the 1,000 to 1050. There are obviously going to be some huge scores out there because there were players who did go huge. I got a few of the guys who went 100, but probably on the lower end, like the 100s, 110s. Didn't get any of those, like Appy's 147, Jaden Campbell 170, Keanu Kinney smashed as well. Like, there were a few players out there who, if you own them and if you manage to sneak on like a VC or a C, you'd be absolutely laughing. 1168 from Moz, that does feel like a very good week. I would think so. What to do with Lussick? That's the big question. Yeah, look, I'll get into maybe some trade plans for next week, but at the moment Lussick actually isn't in them, but he probably could be. How did I land on no big hitters? Yeah, it always feels like that week, doesn't it? 1226 sitting 240. What do you think I'm ranked this week? King, cool dude, King, crown emoji. Thank you, Corey. As I said, if you're in an overall league, you might actually be able to figure this out yourself. If you go to your overall leagues and sort by total points, add on what you scored this week to your previous total points, and you might be able to get a better idea. But for sure, like to over 1200, I would have to think that's a green arrow for sure. That's really good. Like, you might even be kind of in the better than 150s in terms of ranks, like say 150 and below. Everyone's scoring more than my weeks with 17. Yeah, tough. Appy and Galvin definitely saved my week. Yeah, Appy, Coruscant and Galvin, even Samuel Lafino for me today was really, really big. So obviously when I left you all the last stream, I was thinking of doing Liam Henry down to Ruben Porter, but I posted on Instagram and Twitter I definitely recommend following me on Twitter and Instagram because it's way easier for me to update my trade thoughts than uploading a video on YouTube. But in the end, I only did the one trade of Drinkwater to Tedesco. So I didn't have any hookers. I did take the vice-captain loophole on Fafita. In the end, it actually made zero difference because he went down to 84 and Tedesco scored 84 up on updates. So in the end, it made no difference as to if I took the loophole or captain, so that's fine. Didn't lose or win or anything there. I'll show you guys a live rank thing. So I'll quickly go through my team. But yes, Jake's asking for it, so yeah, I'll quickly show you that in a bit. But yeah, so in the end, I didn't do Liam Henry down just because I thought, like the Ruben Porter play, I was getting a bit of cold feet with this news that Bateman was going to be back next round. And I thought, do I want to start nothing already? I mean, I might get enough next week, but what I thought was like, I was going to be sitting with 406k in the bank, and I didn't really know too much. I didn't know what to do with it that much, if that makes any sense. Whereas I got to a conclusion where, like the Roosters, scored 26 points in the end, pretty good points considering how wet the weather was in Gosford. And so if someone like an Angus Crichton backs up, coming in, look, maybe the Tigers aren't an easy matchup after this performance, but look, it is Tigers and then the Titans. Two teams who won very convincingly this weekend, so maybe I shouldn't be targeting them that unfairly. But the Roosters do come up against them around 17, 18. Someone like Angus Crichton, for example, he's got a break even of 87. He didn't change in price, but I'm looking at him as like, if he backs up and plays good minutes, like, do I just want to try to get him back maybe, potentially? And I've still got Nico Hines to think about. But, I can go Liam Henry. Some of my early trade thoughts for next week was like Liam Henry to Crichton via duels via Samuel Lefainu. And I can fund that by Lehigh Hopewadi out for like Fletcher Sharp. I think I might just have enough money to do that next week, which if I can do that pretty much, in my opinion, like locks up my second row forward, done and dusted for Fifita Katoa, Crichton, with Britton Nicola, Kai Paul. Like I don't feel like I need to make any moves there really. Front row is probably fine with Terrell May, Curran. Curran's have been a little bit meh in the last kind of 4 to 5 weeks. But, Liam Henry has done a great job, but he doesn't cover round 19. Neither does Angus, but Angus is a genuine run-home guy. So that's some of my early trade thoughts for next week. In terms of how I did for this week, so Terrell May, just the buy-round king, scored that try, played the full 80 minutes. Like I think he scored over 70 points in base power. Like amazing. Curran was a little bit underwhelming, had a few errors. I think he had like -8 in errors. I don't think Sam Hughes ended up counting in my best 13. He ended up on 28, but I think I had, Fifita loophole 84. Eli Katoa, solid enough, but no major attacking stats with 58. Samuel Lefainu was really, really good today. So he only had the one lie break assist, but pumped out 85 points. Like that's unreal. So he scored 77 pretty much in base power, which is awesome. So really happy with his score today. Galvin 101 was awesome, scored a double. Glad that I held on to him. A few people did sell him for like Cody Walker last week, which, in the end, Cody Walker's gone, 49 and something in the chat is back. Sorry, guys. Yep. Micro strikes again. Yep, absolutely. I told you the TV's on downstairs. There's a few appliances running, so you never know what's going to quite happen with this one. But it should be back. I think I should be back now. Micro strikes again. Yep. Carraz was good, 100 points, even in like that really tough matchup. So really happy with him. Dom Young and Manu are okay. Osako solid enough with that 76. And then, Teddy, pretty good as well. And then Hopewadi, 30 points. Like, Hopewadi wasn't great. Obviously, Manly only scored, they scored 0 points. So, 30 points pretty much in base. So, nothing great from Hopewadi there. But, he could be one of my trade outs for next week. Let me know if back. Okay. Okay. We're good, man. Okay, that's good. All right, so that's kind of how my team went. 1093, pretty happy with that in the end. I'll quickly show you guys the overall rank thing if you want to. So I think my total points, if I look at, so I was on 16,571, plus my 1093 brings me to 17,664 in terms of total points. So if I go to leagues, and then for example, I'll use the champions one because that's easy enough to find. So if you go, like I'm going to have to be scrolling for a bit, so it's not the easiest thing to find, but 17,664. So if I keep scrolling, 17,664, I should be finding my name somewhere around here. It's a bit random how it works, but I think that I see myself. Anyway, you get the idea. Get to your total point. Oh, there I am. Yeah, so you can see my total points, 17,664. So you can see there, I might zoom in a little bit just so it's easier for you guys to see. That does not work. Okay, of course. Yeah, so you can see there, 17664. It's saying overall rank 3939 with a plus 2631. So that's how you can kind of indicatively see what your ranking might be for next week. So it's not 100% accurate. You might get a bit of difference come lockout, but that's the closest way to find out kind of how you went this week. So if you didn't know how to do that already, then there you go. You can see that for your future rounds and for this round as well to see how you went. But yeah, so at the moment thinking pretty decent green arrow of 2,600 I'd be pretty happy with that for this week. Yeah, it's very good for a rough idea. It's not exact, but it gives you a general idea. Like last week, though, I've done it last couple of weeks and kind of known before lockout that I was probably in for a red arrow. But this week we're looking good. In terms of the game, so obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll try to keep the stream probably a little bit shorter, guys. I haven't even eaten dinner yet. It's crazy, but I don't know. I had a Porter's for lunch. I had a very, very big lunch, and so now I'm not that hungry. So might have to have a very light dinner, maybe some soup. Anyway, enough of that. Dolphins versus Storm. So this was obviously a pretty crazy game towards the end. Steers is saying my Pappy pod play crashed and burned. He really only looked 60%, and I remember being 5k off going Appy. That hurts in hindsight. Yeah, for sure. Like Appy obviously went humongous. Pappy scored that try early on, but in the end only on 39. Didn't get amongst any other attacking stats in this one. So I think the fact it doesn't cover round 19, yeah, it's not the best. In hindsight now, it doesn't look like the best play, but look, that it is what it is. The Storm do still have a couple of good matchups. I think they've got the Raiders next week, and then I think they've got the Tigers in round 18, if I'm not mistaken. So not too bad going there, I think. Main guys from the Storm, like fairly low scoring game for SuperCoach. Like the highest score was 90, but just Jerome Hughes again. Look, I don't own Hughes. I know a lot of people out there do own Hughes, but luckily this week Sam Walker for me, went 19 points better, so I didn't feel like I got hurt too much by Hughes last week. But yeah, 90 points again, just involved in everything. I think he had 2 try assists. Sorry. Scored a try of his own. So yeah, 90 points. Josh King scored. Tyron Wishart is just doing a great job for owners as well. Like again, scored a try, 81 points. He's just going to keep going up in money. Very likely going to be a very easy bridge back to Hines or Cleary for people. So well done anyone who owns him. Jack Howarth looked really good. Like he played a bit of stint on the wing, some game in the center as well. But the problem is that he's scoring points. We all wanted him when he was like a bottom dollar cheapie, but we never got him. Now he's been given a run out, and I think he is 205k. And yeah, he's 205k. He had a break even of 38, scored 62, so he's going to go up a little bit. But yeah, it could be an interesting option for sure if he continues to get minutes. Look, Eli Katoa, a bit of a quieter game, but look, a quiet game scoring 58. We know he's got that attacking upside. Absolutely no concerns, I think, from him. Nick Meaney had some pretty bad down dates as well. Only the 37 points in the end. I think on the watch the Storm game live, it was insane. Yeah, the ending was obviously crazy. It was very back and forth. And then that very last play, like just shout out to Trey Fuller who scored 68. That last play when he like beat a couple of guys, broke some tackles, found Asako on the wing. Sako looked like he may have scored, but he didn't. Like that was like that play from Trey Fuller, that was insane. Like he just created that pretty much from nothing. So he's an excellent kind of stand-in fullback for them. But they've got Hamaso. So Hamaso did some pretty cool, crazy things last week as well. So, but Dolphins fullback just seem to be pretty good stocks there at the moment. Wishart might be my best trade so far. He's been pretty bad outside of him. Yeah, with Wishart, yeah, look, he has been really tremendous for owners. Even KO Weeks, for example, I know weeks ago now we were thinking about the whole KO Weeks or Wishart. To be fair, Weeks also went 100 plus today. Like both of them have actually been doing pretty well as a kind of a cheapy cash cow, 5'8". On the Dolphin side, so Sarko pretty happy with those updates in the end. So he scored that intercept try. Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't an intercept. He caught it off the kick and then ran the field. So no line break involved in that, but he did get a line break elsewhere in the game. A few goal kicks to try. Like, yeah, I'm happy with the 76 because he's been a little bit underwhelming in the last few games. So I'll take that score for sure. Not too much more, I think, to speak of elsewhere. Like Trey Fuller, obviously great, but he's not an option just with Hamaso there long term. Max Plath was a player that a lot of people were looking at this week. Pretty much did exactly what you kind of expect from him. So he played 69 minutes, scored 61, extremely solid. You kind of got what you've paid for, kind of thing. So you'd be pretty happy with him. Ewan Aitken, 58. Herbie Farnworth, a little bit quieter, but look, 56. Like, not bad at all, given that he didn't really have any major attacking stats either. Pretty much all in base power. Well, he did have the one try assist in there, but it was a try assist without a line break assist. So pretty much 44 in base, which is kind of what he delivers. Thoughts on Warbrick as a buyer? He's looking good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us did have Warbrick last year. He was a bit of a cheapie for us. I guess this is the thing. Like, I prefer him to Coates for a SuperCoach, and definitely with Hughes being the main playmaker. He does, like, the ball goes more down that right hand side. Tyron Wishart is less likely, I think, going to hit his winger, whereas Hughes can, play on the outside and get it towards his winger. So someone like a Warbrick could be an option. The price is like, it's okay, 397k. He scored 26, 66 before that. Like, my biggest problem is that I just think the center position, I keep saying it, the center position is so stacked, and I feel like we do need to be like careful with who we select there, because you really want to make sure you're keeping like a lot of spaces open, I think. So, I know Manu and Dom Young didn't have a huge week this week, but look, the Roosters still are looking really good. They've got a good long-term draw. So if you own them at the moment, I'm thinking of just keeping them. Karaz, like on the wing, I think once Bulldogs get their origin players back, I think the way that he's been going recently, every time he plays on the wing, he had a couple of great moments himself. So that's 3 players already. People were thinking of Lomax as a Sarko. Like, I get the appeal. I get the appeal. He's a Storm winger, but what is he averaging for the season? Like 39. I feel like he's just going to be a little bit too inconsistent. Like, you're going to get these 80s and 60s and 70s, but then you're going to get these 20s and 28s, and I just feel like on those weeks it's going to be tough, unless you play him on matchups. Of course, I get that part of it. Doesn't cover 9-10. I guess that's the only other downside as well. Is Sharp a good option next week? Look, we'll definitely talk. I mean, yes. In short, yes. Because he'll cover 17, covers 19, covers 20, all the difficult weeks. So coming up ahead. So yes, I think overall he's a pretty good buy. I think I'll be maybe looking at trading him in myself. Could be a nice little cash cow. Plus covers 19, which is going to be a tricky week. I'm not sure if we're going to get the huge scores in 19 like we've got at the moment in round 16, but who knows? But yeah, I think he could. Fletcher Sharp, I think, is going to be probably the most traded in player next week if I had to guess. Elsewhere from the Dolphins, I mean, Marshall King solid with 50, but probably not too much more, I think, to speak of. I guess Tavita Pangai Jr. came back and pretty much did Tavita Pangai Jr. things straight away. Got on report. I don't know if there's been any kind of, hearing or sentence. He played 38 minutes in the end, only 34 points, so not like amazing hit out. So I'm not like rushing to get him at this particular point in time. Dolphins play next week, but they do have a bye in round 18. So if I look at him, it's probably going to be as a round 19 trade-in most likely. I guess from the Storm, we've pretty much covered all the big players, I guess. And then, Joe Chan is doing Joe Chan things. Thank you, son. Titans, Warriors, 66-6. Like, who thought that this was going to happen? I tipped Warriors. I just figured Titans were pretty poor against the Tigers last week. They had a lot of attacking opportunities, but they just bundled a few of them. I just figured the Warriors have been a little bit better recently. Definitely did not predict this score line. I mean, 4 players from the Titans all scoring over 100. 2 of them scoring over 150. 170 from Jaden Campbell. Like, I mean, shout out to the Whisperer, because I know he's very upset about this one, but he was considering Jaden Campbell 2 weeks ago and he got talked out of it. And since then, the man has gone and scored, 200 and... I don't know. He's got 70 points, 77 last week, and then 170. So he's got like 250 points, like something ridiculous. And Keanu Kinney as well, back-to-back tons. That's actually 3 tons in the last 4 games now for Keanu Kinney. So I was looking back, and the one that got away. This is the thing. It's when you create content and stuff, you try to think of like all the players. Like, you try to consider as many players as you possibly can. But like, when I put fullback sections together, I naturally just think about Teddy, Pappy, CNK, Walsh, Edwards, Latrell, all those, Drinkwater, all those kind of guys. And then you just don't, like, I mean, look, I've got Hopewadi, but he was like a big cheapie. To be fair, Keanu Kinney was a cheapie at the start of the year as well. I think he, like, since round 10, 36-44, you'd be like, oh, okay. But then since that, round 12, 132, 43, 112, and now 153. So that's 3 tons in the last 4. Look, the Titans do have a bye in round 17. So as much as you might be interested in the players, they're obviously not options next week. but probably big talking points in round 18 because they do cover the round 19 bye week. So, I mean, with Keanu Kinney now, like he had a break even of, what did he have a break even of? 37, and he's gone and scored 153. Also, shout out to Desi Creek of the Playbook, former champion. He actually traded in Keanu Kinney last week. Like, talk about a trade coming off for you. That is ridiculous. Like, getting 153, and then I think he scored 110 or 116 112 it was last week. It's like, just ridiculous. So, like, he's projected to go up 88k with a negative 39 break even. So he's going to be in 660k with a negative break even. Like, expensive. Jaden Campbell, if anyone's thinking about him as well. So he had a break even of 7, and he's gone and scored 170 points. So he's going to go from 486k, and he's projected to go up 121k. That was before he went up to 170, so he's probably more likely to go up like 125k. So he's going to be like over 600k with a negative 38 break even as well. All of a sudden, 5'8" is a big spot. We've got Galvin scoring tons. We've got Campbell scoring 170. Even fullback now, we've got, Teddy, Latrell. Please, Keanu Kinney season apparently. How are the Warriors so bad? I think Des Creek got Kinney. Yeah, he did for sure. Like that is, and he actually, he's had an insane week. I think he scored, because I think I'm in a league with him. He scored over 1,300 because he had Keanu Kinney. I think he had Coruscant. He had Terrell May. I think he had Sam Walker. I think he has Carraz as well. Like, he just had so many guys going 100 plus, and those are the weeks that you want. That really puts you up. My mate got Jaden Campbell smiley face. Unless only if your mate was Owen, only if you were your own mate Owen, then you could have got Jaden Campbell yourself. But yeah, I mean, Jaden Campbell is going to obviously be a huge talking point in round 18 because they cover round 19, and I guess it just depends on what happens with AJ Brimson as well. Like, he might be due back before that round 19 week. Like, the way that Kinney's been playing, you'd think that they just keep him there. So maybe that means Brimson to 5'8", maybe Campbell back to the bench, or they can put Brimson to centre like they tried at the beginning of the season. That would be the way that probably keep everyone in the team, is if they put Brimson at centre, Keanu Kinney stays at fullback, and Jaden Campbell stays at 5'8". And look, Jaden Campbell is for sure like a viable option. Like, he's goal kicking, so that's obviously a plus. We know the Titans can be an attacking team. Look, 66 points I doubt will happen every week, but we know that they've got those points in them. So, I mean, it could be an option. Like, Sharks in 18, Parramatta in round 19 could be a nice game for that particular bye round. And the run home draw is actually not that bad until about round 25 when it's Roosters, Knights, Penrith. So William makes a good point here. So yeah, he's going for scans for a broken hand. NRL Physio was, if he hasn't made a post on this already, I know I'm in his Patreon, so I know he was discussing this. He was going to maybe try to make one, or he had gone back through the game and found the particular incident. So yeah, let's obviously see what happens with him. But look, if it's a broken hand, then obviously he might be out for a few weeks and then is no longer an option. But I guess all you can say here is that you just have to congratulate any Campbell owners. Anyone I know people captained him in like draft and stuff. Like, yeah, 170 points, just ridiculous. Campero 4 tries. Kieran Foran had like 4 try assists. Brian Kelly ended up on 86. He did get some very, very late junk points. So Canpero's 4th try, he did get a line break try assist, I think. So I think he was sitting on around 61 before that. So that's probably the only thing I'll mention just with his score if you're maybe looking at him or considering him. He was more around his usual lower 60s, but he got that late try assist for Campero. So I just wanted to flag that. I'm surprised Fafita went down in updates. I thought he had some crazy runs where he just got a bunch of tackle busts. So I thought the 88 loop was easy. But in the end, went down a little bit to 84. But look, 84 points after Ruben Garrick gate last week. I was very happy. When he was on 88, I was just like, just take the points. Even if Teddy went like 110, it was only going to be 22 points difference. But you just never know concussions, head knocks, as I very brutally found out last week with Ruben Garrick. So 88 points in a week like this where I had a free loop, I just was very happy to take those double points. Didn't realize JC was kicking goals. Yeah, he kicked goals last week, but yeah, again, like just the way that my team was looking, he just wasn't a priority for me. Like my fullback spot, I was going Drinky to Teddy. I already had Hop Whitey in there who had a negative break even, so I wasn't going to trade him out. And then I had Cody Walker and I had Galvin both playing this week. Like it just, there are times when, you know what, like I guess you could make the argument to sell, well, actually I couldn't have traded in another 5'8", but there are some times where you just need to like realize that they're just not the best trade in for your team, but obviously if you, in hindsight, we all would have traded in Campbell and Kinney and captain Campbell, I guess. What did Beau Fermor base? So, yeah, he ended up scoring 65. He did score a try in that, so I don't think his base is probably going to be that good. So, what do we have? 8 points in tackles plus tackle bust, so 18 plus 20 points in runs. So, it's 38 base power. So, 28 in base. I don't know if anything happened in this game that meant he moved off into the centres or something. But, yeah, look, 65 from Beau Fermor, who's been really solid actually the last few weeks. You'd be very happy with that. I mean, for goodness sakes, Keenan Palacia even scored 74, and he's been, what is he? Not been good for Supercoach all season, and he scored 74. You had to scroll down a fair while before you got to someone who didn't score over 60 for the Titans. Look, I was mentioning Pahulu as a bit of a downgrade. Look, I didn't do it in the end. Thank you, Dem Clips. Yeah, so Jojo Fafita was out before the game started, so Beau Fermor covered centre. Okay, thank you. No, thanks for that. Makes sense. Yeah, so that makes sense as to why his base was down last week. The player tab sorted by round 16 points looks ridiculous. Yeah, I probably need to go and check that out. Isaac Liu, someone actually did mention him to me as a downgrade. So he was 233k, scored 41, had a break even of 26. He's been playing pretty much every round for the Titans all season long, and he has a low score of 13 and a high score of, now 41. But prior to that, his high score was 33. The definition of consistency. So look, if you want a downgrade who's not a complete nuff, Isaac Liu could be an option, and he is second or front row forward. So just putting that out there. On the Warriors side of things, I guess there's not really a lot to take out of the game when your team gets absolutely smacked like that. Tamar Martin, look, people are saying the Warriors look better without Sean Johnson as a halfback, which is, I don't know if I want to go all that way, but yeah, look, he hasn't been great since he's come back, and he was off for quite a while, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him, but Tamar Martin still scored pretty well, 66 points, scored the only try there for the Wars. Toa Harris very solid, 64. I guess probably the underwhelming ones is Nickel Clockstad, only the 36 points, pretty much just in base, but nothing else really. Fanua Blake with 34. So in hindsight, happy I didn't. I know a few people were thinking for me to go Joe Chan to Fanua Blake. In the end, I didn't want to make that Liam Henry downgrade. So instead, I by using only the one trade this week, it gave me a bit more confidence in that my team was already looking okay. Obviously helps that AFB didn't go big either. That really does help things out too. But yeah, so in a game like this, you're spending a lot of time behind your goalposts. It's uncomfortable conversation, but to be honest, I generally think he still doesn't look fit. I'm guessing that's in reference to SJ. Yeah, look, it's tough. This could be his last season, but yeah, it'd be a shame for him to go out like this. But yeah, look, 9 points. I think he had a projected price drop of, it's going to be ugly, $104,000. He was going to projected price drop, and he's 602k. So he's going to be lower than, he's going to be 498k with 133 break even. Look, all I'm saying is if you don't want to go Hines Cleary and you want to pick up SJ on a budget in a few weeks' time, you absolutely could. The question is, will you actually want to do that? The way things are, yeah, probably not. But yeah, is there really much to say out of the Warriors? I guess you probably don't panic. Tuivasa-Sheck, only 15. He did get a sin bin in this game as well. Look, if you got the likes of a Nickel Clockstad, Fanua Blake, I probably wouldn't panic too much. I'd probably hold on, but I can understand, Teddy, for example, if you went CNK and you're just thinking, I need to just correct my mistake and go CNK to Teddy, for example, maybe as a move next week, Roosters play the Tigers next week. Look, I don't think that's actually a terrible, idea, because sometimes, yes, you might have someone who's a gun, but if that in such a hot position, if you can make a move to a similar guy, if you can make a move to another fullback who's going to consistently outscore him by maybe 20, 30 points from round 17 to round 27, we're talking an extra 250 to 300 points potentially. That makes the trade worth it. So that's probably the only thing to consider. Maybe with Nickel Clockstad, with Fanua Blake, I think you just put it down to, look, it was an off game. We know that he can go big at any point. So I think you just definitely keep Fanua Blake. But it probably helps those of us maybe who don't own, who were looking to buy him, because he is projected to lose 26k and he's going to have 127 break even. So he might be getting down into those 640, 650s. So might be a nice trade in a few weeks from now. Warriors don't cover round 19 though, I guess. So that probably makes him a little bit less relevant. To be honest, not many of these teams that played this week actually cover round 19, apart from, well, to be honest, Raiders, Manly and Tigers are the only 3 teams. Are the Warriors a good matchup based on that performance? Might be getting a green cover on my matchup spreadsheet. Look, what I might do actually, because I've been actually thinking about this. So some of the scores will be a little bit distorted because there was such high SuperCoach scoring across the board this week. But what I was going to do was update my spreadsheet ratings. Not necessarily the colors. The colors don't have to change. They don't actually affect the sorting in the spreadsheet. That the sorting is actually done by numbers. But I was going to do it based on the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks of data, not just and the Titans. Sorry, the Titans cover around 19. But I was going to do it based on the last kind of maybe 6 to 8 weeks of data, not the whole season, just to keep it up to a bit more updated. Because I think now, you look at a team like the Rabbitohs, they've won 4 in a row. They're probably not looking as difficult, as an opposition now. Oh, sorry, they're not looking as easy as an opposition now as what we were beginning of the season. Teams like the Tigers and the Titans have been a little bit more resilient in the last couple of weeks, although Tigers had 50 put on them not that long ago as well. So they can be very inconsistent. If anything, look, we're talking about the Roosters now. I'm very certain they cover versus the Tigers next week. Let's have a look-see. They do, yep. And I kind of like this. So obviously Tigers coming off like a really big win this week, 48 points to 24. They're going to be on a high. I kind of... this is going to sound terrible, so apologies, Tigers fans, but I kind of like coming up against, when you come up against these teams and they've just had a good win. Confidence is high, especially for these teams down the bottom of the ladder. Shout out to the Tigers, though, who aren't actually bottom of the ladder anymore. That's the Parramatta Eels. As Che Jordan says here, the River Snakes are last. Yes, unfortunately, Parramatta fans, you're bottom of the ladder right now. But coming up against a team that's just had a pretty good win, but towards the bottom end of the ladder, so they're a little bit more inconsistent. A team like the Roosters could just come versus the Tigers, who are thinking, sweet, we had an awesome win, let's go guys, morale's high, and then the Roosters just turn up and just go, no, sorry mate, we've got all of our Origin players back, we're just going to show you who's boss type thing. So not necessarily saying it could be like another 50-point hammering or something like that, but it still could be a good week to come up against them. So like talking about the Roosters here, like this game was definitely the best game for me for SuperCoach. So Terrell May 110, Karaz went up to 100, Sam Walker 109, Teddy 84. Very, very happy with all of those scores there. And so I'm very happy to take a lot of these guys into next week against the Tigers. And this is kind of why part of my trade plans did change a little bit. I'm thinking if I can manage to squeeze in Angus Crichton into my second row, if he looks likely he's going to back up from Origin, which of course is next week, Wednesday. The Roosters play on let's have a quick look-see. So the Roosters will play on Sunday. Okay, so they play on Sunday, which is good. That's a good turnaround time. So Origin players will have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. So there's 4-day turnaround for the Roosters for round 17. So if Angus Crichton looks like he's going to not get a rest and back up versus the Tigers, I still think even if he plays 50 minutes, 60 minutes, he can still do damage. Like, he's looked really good. So I changed my trade plan slightly this week to maybe make it Liam Henry to him, and I can fund that by maybe going Hopewadi, who's on the bye next week, to Fletcher Sharp. So I'm thinking maybe doing in that. But yeah, very happy with the Roosters players. We know they've got just a really good draw for the rest of the year. Terrell May is going to be a very interesting player now, because we've seen in the bye weeks, he just goes huge. He plays big minutes. Someone, I think, earlier in the chat asked, is this what we're going to see moving forward? Or do we think it's just going to be a case of, his minutes will reduce again when Spencer Leniu and Lindsay Collins are back? Look, I think his minutes will reduce again. But this is the thing, front row, such a meh position. Terrell May, in these big weeks, he can go big. If we know he can get these attacking stats. He can be inconsistent. He can get these games where he scores 25, 30, 38. But then he gets these big weeks. And I think someone like a Lindsay Collins, Spencer Leniu, I can see them maybe getting a rest maybe after game 3 of Origin. And the way the front row forward is, I think at the moment, I'm probably not looking to sell Terrell May. I know it's easy to say when he's just scored 110 points. Of course, I don't have to just... Well, sorry, can't speak right now. It's very easy to say, yeah, I'm not going to sell him after he's just scored 110. I guess the question is, if he scored 50 points or 40 points, would I think the same? Look, I probably would be thinking a little bit more oh yeah, you could probably sell. But at the same time, front row is a bit meh. So I think I'm probably going to keep Terrell May. I've got a decision on my hands. So I've got Sam Walker, Dill Bags, Cody Walker, and Galvin. So Galvin and Cody Walker both cover round 19, as does Dillbags, but Sam Walker doesn't. But he's got Tigers and then the Titans in round 18. So I'm kind of thinking, is he maybe my ticket to Hines? Can I maybe sell Galvin? But he scored well this week. At the moment, Sam Walker probably makes sense to sell to Nico Hines. And so he's doing a perfect job at the moment. So he had a 92 break even. He scored 109. So he'll go up in price. If I can sell him to Hines fairly straight value-wise, then I think I'll be... that might be my best way to Hines. Although Matt Sherwood says, bro, better not be selling Sam Walker. He is our Cleary. To be fair, it's really hard to say, like, sell Sam Walker when he's goal kicking for this really potent Roosters team. I guess it kind of depends how my numbers look for round 19. Because I think, to be honest, out of having Galvin, Dillbags, Sam Walker, and Cody, Dillbags and Sam Walker would be the two ones I'd probably most want to keep. And then it'd be one of Galvin or Cody Walker maybe I sell for Nico Hines. We just have to see how the money works. So that's something I'll deliberate for next week. And I'll think about it. I won't probably trade in Hines next week because they come against the Bulldogs, who I think if they get the likes of Stephen Crichton back, we know that they've been pretty defensively pretty good. So I don't have to rush in Hines, but I think Hines in 18, 19 is when it starts really getting scary if you don't own him. So, Matt Shaw says, look at their draw home. Same with Teddy. Scored 109, 52, 88, and 100 in those last four. Those are clear scores, my man. Look, he has been killing it. And his goal kicking has gotten so much better this season as well. So I get your point, maybe Cleary. Hines, though, I'm thinking maybe I have to sell for Hines, but we'll see what happens. Very happy with Teddy. 84 points. Didn't have any major attacking stats. That's base, like one line break, otherwise base power. Like 74 base power. Oh, beauty. Thank you, Teddy, for that. 18 points tackle busts. A forced dropout. Couple of offloads. Or one offload, I should say. But 42 points in just runs, like 32 over 8 meters and then 10 points. Awesome knock. Manu and Dom Young a little bit quieter, but how many Roosters is too many? Well, at the moment I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I trade in Angus Crichton next week, that's 6. But the thing is, if they're all delivering and scoring points, and it's not a massive problem, the problem is going to be round 23 because that's when they have a bye week. So if you're a head-to-head player, it's probably going to affect you a little bit more because apparently round 23 is the first week of head-to-head finals, so that could really stuff you up. But if you're an overall player, then maybe you can balance it out a little bit. So at the moment, how many Roosters are too many? 6 probably. Like, look, if I get to 6, I can't see myself getting any more than that. But look, they're in a good attacking team. Like, there's no harm in getting multiple of them because you can get weeks like this where, you know, of the 5 that I own, the lowest only scored 56. So yeah, pretty happy with that, and 2 of them scored over 100. On the Bulldogs side of things, so Kiraz with 100. So Jason Yang asked earlier, is Kiraz a trade-in or it's too late? Definitely not too late, I think, for Kiraz. So he actually played right centre. Jarrell Skelton actually looked really, really good as well. So Kiraz did have 150 break-even coming into this week. So he's going to lose some money, but probably not too much. So Jay Schubert, when he had scored 90 before updates, he was going down 48k with a 90 break-even. So it's probably more likely going down to 44k. So he'll be 750k with a 90 break even. So, you know, I think at best he might bottom out to the kind of low 700s. But Bulldogs, I think, they've got a pretty up and down draw for the run home. But the thing is, like someone like a Kiraz, we know he's got such a good work rate. So look, Sharks in round 17 might not be ideal. So maybe you can wait until then. But you could easily trade him in. Maybe if we're thinking the Warriors at home is a good matchup, like that could be a great matchup. And then round 20, which is going to be a pretty difficult mini bye week to cover, he covers against the Cowboys. So pretty good matchup there as well. Then it's Broncos, Canberras, Dragons, Dolphins, Warriors again, Manly, Cowboys. Like, actually, run home for Bulldogs, pretty solid. They don't verse any of those maybe bottom teams, unfortunately, Parramatta, say Titans or Tigers, but they verse a lot of those guys kind of in the bottom 8 anyway. So it's actually a not bad run home for the Bulldogs. So I think Kiraz for sure. I definitely don't think he's too late for a trade-in. I think maybe you can skip maybe round 17 because it's against the Sharks, but round 18 versus the Warriors might be a good week to trade him in when he goes down maybe a little bit more in price. But yeah, really happy with him. He's never going to get you a bad score. Like, look, 100 points. He looked really good on the weekend as well. Like a couple of good fends to put Skelton away for, I think, what was it, Jamin Salmon's try. But what he scored, 12 points in tackles. Like, I'm just going to quickly calculate his base power here. 28 plus 12, 40. 40 plus 30. He had 78 in base power. Come on. Ridiculous. Like, yeah, that should tell you enough. It's not too late to trade in Jacob Carraz. Skelton was really good, and then after that, not too many huge scores from the Bulldogs players. Josh Curran's been a little bit underwhelming, but I think I'm just, as I said, front row. I'm just such a low upside position. I think I'm just going to keep it there. How many? Oh, we already asked that question. What to do with Burton? Asks William. So, yeah, Burton's a tough one. So he had a very high break even of 115. So he's going to be going down quite a bit in price. So Jay Schubert has him projected to go down 73k with 149 break even. So it's a tough one. Like he didn't play at 5'8" in this game. So Drew Hutchinson came in, played in the halves, and Burton played at center. So probably not as effective. I mean, he's still at an okay value in the 600s. I guess one of the moves that you could have done to avoid going down in price too much was maybe to Jaden Campbell. But the problem is that someone like Campbell doesn't play next week. So you kind of have to maybe you have to sit with Burton for another week. But as I read out before, the run home draw is not that bad for the Bulldogs. So I think if you need a round 19 number, maybe you don't own Galvin or you don't own Cody, maybe you can go to one of them. Otherwise, I'd be tempted to just keep him because the run home is pretty decent. He's been good for most of the season as well. Just a poor week playing at centre, like back at 5'8", I think he'll be much better. So I think any Burton owners out there, I'd probably say lean towards holding, ideally if you can. That's probably it for this game. Just conscious of time, we're already at 44 minutes. I might just quickly fly through the others. To be fair, there wasn't probably much out of the Rabbitohs Manly game. It was I didn't actually watch this game live. I just watched the KO mini. But, Damien Cook's been really, really good the last couple of weeks. I think that's back-to-back hundreds for him. So 111 this week. And he scored 95 the week before. He's actually been sneaky good since like round 11. So at his price now, it gets quite expensive. So yeah, probably wouldn't be rushing it to him now. Koloamatangi does become a very enticing round 19 option. So I don't know if he's going to be getting dual for round 18. If he got dual in round 18 and gets front row eligibility, that might make things very interesting. It could be maybe an upgrade. People might sell Terrell May to him or maybe Josh Curran. At the moment, it seems like he's just going to stick at second row forward. So he's probably going to be one of the better second rows to cover. Because since he's moved into the middle, he's definitely been much better for SuperCoach. So he had that big score of 133, 52, 78, and then now the 97. And pretty good base power stats in this game as well from memory because he scored that try off a kick. So, yeah, 31 in tackles plus 6, 37. 37 plus 5, what's that? 42 plus 34. 42 plus 34 is 76 base power? What is it with all these huge base power scores this week? There's actually some really big ones. Joe Tarpany's another one who will speak in the next game. But Koloamatangi, Carraz, Teddy had a big one. Fafita pretty much as well the same. There's some really big kind of work rate scores this week. Jai Grave, I guess anyone who went on him as a cheapie would be pretty happy with the 76. But apart from that, probably not too much relevance. Maybe Jai Arrow 53 if people are still looking at him as a front row forward, second row forward dual. Cody a little bit quieter, lost some points for goal kicking. So, obviously the goal kicking wasn't the best. Neither of these two teams play next week, so they're probably not the most relevant. Cody, but they both play round 19, so they're relevant in that respect. But I guess for next week, you're probably looking at maybe just holding. If you're playing overall, you probably just want that round 19 cover. Shout out to Alex Johnson again, 28 points. He's just not looking an option to me. With Whiten in that team, they just don't go to him as much. And Whiten is a running 5'8". He's not a passing one. So Johnson apparently projected to go down 33,000 with a 39 break even. Alex Johnson could be 360k in a couple of weeks. Maybe in round 19, he's a trade in then, but at the moment, he's just not passing eye test for me at all. So yeah, not very keen, I guess, on him. And on the Manly side of things, it was a very weakened Manly team, so not a lot of SuperCoach relevance here. I guess the big one is that, so NRL Physio tweeted that it's been reported that, Turbo is confirmed going to be coming back in round 18. So, so Tom Tavoy, which will return in round 18 after the bye. Seabold indicated that Turbo will be named on the extended bench in jersey 22 to keep everyone guessing if he'll play fullback or centre. So, look, someone like in my position, the one that affects is Lehigh Hopewadi. So he only scored 30 points. I think my guess is that Turbo comes out at fullback. even if he comes back at centre, I don't see how Hopewadi stays in the team though, because I would imagine that if Turbo goes to centre, the two wingers are Jason Saab and Tommy Talau. I don't see them getting dropped, and I don't see Kula or Garrick getting dropped either. So what I think will happen is that I think Kula goes to fullback, Turbo goes to centre, or they put Garrick to fullback. But it's hard for me to see one of the wingers getting dropped. So it just makes me think that Hopewadi is going to get dropped. And I knew there was a bit of a risk with Hopewadi when I traded him in, but look, with a score of 30, I think he's projected to make maybe about 30k. So in the end, he's made me like 160k, which is decent. Obviously, I would have hoped for a bit more against the Rabbitohs. But look, with his score, he's going to be making approximately 51k. So if he makes 51k, he would have made me 180k. So like not bad. And if he makes me 50, he'll be going up in price to, what will he be going up in price to? He'll be going up to around 385k. And so if I trade him down to Fletcher Sharp, that frees up 180k. If I've done my maths right, I might just be able to afford Liam Henry to Angus Crichton next week. So yeah, that could be very, very juicy. Shout out to Liam Henry, the king. It's kind of nice to keep him in my team this week. And also with Liam Henry, I don't even have to sell him next week because he's got a break even of 41. So we can see how things go. But yeah, apart from that, on Manly side, Jason Saab, 37. He's been pretty quiet as well. Burbo, 45. But I mean, Ethan Bullimore, 50. People may have looked at him as a bit of a cheaper second or fourth front row, but probably not a whole heap of relevance, I guess, in this one. Tigers and Raiders, a couple of people have said that there have been some updates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh my page and pray that it is not in the stream. Oh, hello. There have been some updates. Oh, please give the stream a like as well, guys, if you're enjoying it. So my score has updated to 1098. You couldn't have given Galvin or Fainu a couple of extra points. Would have liked 1100. Simkin from Manly, what did he end up on? 47. Did he play the full 80 minutes? I think he did. So yeah, 47. It's not bad, to be honest, actually. Look, he's on the bye next week, but he'll go up to like 240k. I guess with Simkin, I just want to know what's the story with Lachlan Croker. But he's been out for a while though, so maybe Simkin, it is his spot at the moment. So he might be someone I consider as a round 19 Joey Lussick trade. But yeah, he's probably maybe a bit of a better downgrade hooker now because Tong didn't play in that game. I think he got cut from the team before the final team lists. So yeah, Simkin could be an option as well. But at the moment, they're probably more like the Manly team is probably more on the cheapies is where we're looking until hopefully we get Garrick back in round 18. And then, yeah, Tommy Turbo. Turbo, this is the thing I think people also need to maybe consider is, look, people might not be ready to jump back on Turbo straight away anyway because it was a hamstring injury. But, if you're getting Fletcher Sharp next week, your fullbacks most likely are going to be Tedesco and Fletcher Sharp. You're probably not going to be selling Teddy. So maybe this is the only thing maybe just throw out there for anyone who's looking at Fletcher Sharp next week. Just remember that if you already own Teddy, are you really going to sell Tedesco in round 19? Probably not. And you're not going to sell Fletcher Sharp if he's playing as well. So just think about that a little bit if you think you might want to have Turbo in round 19. Because I think they verse the Titans or Rabbitohs. No, they're not versus Rabbitohs. They verse Newcastle in round 19. So just think about that if you're thinking about maybe getting Fletcher Sharp next week. On the West Tigers Raiders game, obviously a fantastic performance from the Tigers here, scoring 48 points in the end. Lockie Galvin 102, Samuel Fainu 89, amazing. Fainu getting 89 is awesome considering he pretty much did that with only the one. He had one forced dropout and one line break assist. So look, he's not going to get a forced dropout most weeks. So if I take the 14 out of his score, that's 75 base power. Like really, really happy with that. Again, add it to the tally of over 70 like base power guys this week. Insane. Galvin, really, really happy with him. 102 points, so very involved. Scored the double and a try assist as well. Coruscant was the big one, of course. So he's actually downdated. So I don't know what he's lost here. So I think he may have lost a try assist because he was on 147. And I think he may have lost a try assist. I don't know which try assist he may have lost, but he's lost something. Maybe some missed tackles. He had 8 missed tackles against him. But look, as a non-Api Coruscant owner, I'm not that unhappy that he went from 147 to 133. But yeah, I mean, let me know in the chat if you're a Coruscant owner, because you'd be ecstatic, of course, with that. Especially, I think for a long time he's been a little bit frustrating for owners, but if you've held on to him until now, you'd be obviously laughing. So really huge game from Coruscant. He covers round 9. The Tigers covers 17, 18, 19, and 20. Lost the try assist probably for the Galvin try. Yeah, that's probably what it was. Yeah. But yeah, very happy with all of my players in that game. Galvin and Samuel Lefinu was awesome. Definitely Samuel Lefinu, if people don't own him already. Look, he's going to go up in the 500s now, so he's going to be getting a little bit expensive, but he's actually been one of my better trade-ins. So I traded him in, I've had it for ages now. So I think, because I traded Smithies to him before even round 13. So I think I traded him in, at like round 8 or something. Was it round 8? Or was it round 10? I think I traded him for like 370, 380k. So the fact that he's going up to like 500k is awesome. He's been making some good coin. But in the last couple of weeks as well, like 89 this week, 62, 49, 82. He's had some really good scores the last few weeks. The duel is fantastic as well. So yeah, he's been a good trade-in for me. He lost the try assist for the Galvin pass from dummy half. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm trying to remember in my head which try that was. But anyway, I'll look back on it and see. Let me know if you think that's controversial or not, if he's lost that. But yeah, Stefano Ordikamanu scored a try from dummy half as well, 73, set up by Coruscant. Sione Fainu actually scored a try as well, so he, as a downgrade in front row, scored very well this week. Dream Buller, 68. Adam Dewey, 64. How good is it to see someone coming back from injury, especially the number of ACL injuries that Dewey's had. And the commentary in the crowd was awesome when he got that runaway intercept try. Is he an option? I mean, look, he's 5'8 only. It's not like he's cheap either. He's 511k. But, oh God, remember, was it last year or the year before? I think it was 2022. Maybe it was last year. I think it was last year. Everyone was like Matt Burton or Adam Dewey from the start of the season. And look at our boy, 64 points. Look, one to monitor. I'm not sure if I'll be rushing to trade him in. He's only listed at 5'8 anyway. So if you already own like Cody Walker, Galvin, like myself, or Dill Bags, they both cover round 19 already. So you're not getting a lot of value, I guess, out of Dill. And he's playing at center. You'd probably rather him in the halves for Supercoach. But for the Tigers, I think they're probably going to stick with this setup where maybe he does play in the centers. But yeah, shout out to him. It was awesome to see him score that runaway try. Probably not much more else from the West Tigers. I guess Ruben Porter, only the 31 points. He did play 69 minutes though, so I think he still had pretty good minutes. But he was a pretty popular downgrade this week as a potential nuff. Let's see what the team list looks like next week with Bateman, because if Bateman comes back in the middle, then Porter still could be getting that starting role. But if he's named on the edge, I would think that Bateman might. Well, Bateman's played a bit of both for that West Tigers team this year, and even last year he played a lot of middle as well. So kind of remains to be seen what happens, I guess, for team lists for next week. Jake Young, yes, you make a very relevant point here. God, it would be easy to trade in the wrong S. Fainu. Yes, absolutely. The only way to make the distinction is Samuel Fainu is second row forward front row. Sione Fainu is only front row. So you can make that distinction. Or just, if you want to be really careful, just click into their names and yeah, make sure you trade in the right bloke. From the Raiders, probably not a whole heap of relevance. They don't play round 19. I guess the relevant ones, probably KO Weeks had some downgrades with 90 points. Big game from Nick Kotrick, 110, but not at a great downgrade price. I guess Joe Tarpany. Joe Tarpany's actually got some big upgrades. Sorry, I excuse myself for saying no relevance. Yeah, Joe Tarpany is definitely relevant. So I actually could have afforded Tarpany in for Liam Henry, I think, this week. Didn't make the trade, but kind of regretting that now. Because look, at 650k, he's going to go up in price, and he scored 89 points. I think he played 50 minutes in general in the game, but he had one try contribution. Otherwise, 85 points in base power. A line break assist in there as well. So we'll take that out. Take out the try contribution. What's that? 72 points in 72 points base power. Another tallied up again. What is that? We got Kolamatangi, we had Carraz, we had Tedesco, we had Tarpany, Samuel Lefinu. We've had 5 guys that I can think off the top of my head who've had base power over 70 this week. Probably add Fafita to that as well. But yeah, Tarpany, I think for sure is getting the bigger minutes 50 minutes isn't even big minutes, but like it's when he gets above 50 to 55 is when he starts getting these really big scores. So I think if you are looking for that front row upgrade, AFB, you might want to wait now, just hopefully let his price drop a little bit, but Joey Tarpany could actually be a really, really solid option. If you've got the money to do it and you've got the trade, someone like Curran up to him might be a really nice upgrade. Or you can be lazy like me and just stick with the front row that you already have. But, if I don't get Angus Crichton next week, I might maybe go Liam Henry to Joe Tarpany potentially. But Crichton still seems tempting just because of that upside, but he is a lot more expensive. So that's something for me to reconsider for next week, because I think the Raiders, while they don't play round 19, they don't, I think, have many more buys coming up for the rest of the year. So they miss round 19 and then they play out the rest of the year. So that's also a handy thing as well. I don't really see the Raiders being a team that will rest their players quite a bit either. So Tarpany is good in that respect where, Adam Fanua-Blake, he's got a buy in round 27, which is a really, really tricky week. Whereas someone like the Raiders, at least you know that apart from round 19, you pretty much are going to get them for the rest of the year. And I don't really see them resting players that much. So something to mention, I guess, with some of the Raiders players, they might be handy kind of run-home guys as well. Jordan Rapana, I know a lot of people went on him this week as a bit of a pod. 71 points, to be pretty happy with that output in the end. And then no one else over 60. I guess shout out to Danny Levi. Just who would have thought in round 3 that Danny Levi to Joey Lussick was not the right play? Because Joey Lussick has become a AE nightmare. Danny Levi is still scoring tries. He's going to make money up to 370k. Can't believe it. Can't believe that Danny Levi is going to be the better option than Joey Lussick. But yeah, I probably should circle back to Stefano because Reese has just asked thoughts on Stefano. So yeah, with the break even of 48, he will go up in price, but he's at a good price where he's sub 600k still. Again, thinking Liam Henry, if people own him. Stefano has shown some attacking upside in the last couple of weeks, so scored a try this week, did score one last week I think it was 88, mostly base power. And he's had some good scores, so we're looking at a 73, 88, 45 and a 72 in his last 4 games. Apart from that, more kind of in the 50s range. So he's probably a very solid option, I think. You can't go wrong. I mean, I think now that Samuel Lafinu is getting into the 500Ks, well, to be honest, I'd probably still take Samuel Lafinu. If Samuel Lafinu can get those kind of base power stats like more weeks than not, then for sure I'd prefer him because at the moment he's cheaper and he does have the dual, whereas Stefano's only the front row. But look, Stefano played 47 minutes, Samuel Lafinu playing 80 minutes on the edge. I just generally do prefer the back rowers in SuperCoach. They're more likely to get those attacking stats, playing off Galvin as well. But Stefano for sure could still be a solid option. And look, he covers round 19, covers 20. The only buy they have is round 26. So you can still probably cover that as well. So yeah, I think Stefano could definitely also actually be a pretty valid consideration. And shout out to R2 Rusty. I've still got Danny Levi, held on to him this long paired with Grant. Oh man, if I had just had a time capsule and just went way back to round 3, I could have just kept Danny Levi. And you know what? We might have been okay. Might have just been okay. Anyways, that's all the games covered. We've covered my team. Updates have come in now for all the games by the look of it as well. So my end score is 1098. Oh, I don't want to be greedy, but 2 points would have been nice to get to 1100. But look, I'll take 1098. I think that's a pretty good week for me. Initially was projecting up to, just inside the top 4,000. It was like 3,900. So pretty happy with that overall. But I think we'll end the stream there, guys. We'll be back on Tuesday to preview round 17. And I guess the thing I'll try to... I'm not sure how much I can manage it next week with my schedule, but obviously we've got Origin on Wednesday. So however much we say on Tuesday, a lot of it is prefaced by what happens with the Origin players. But for sure, we'll do something on Tuesday and we'll try to do some kind of updated thing. Maybe not Thursday, I've got something on, but maybe on the Friday potentially. So yeah, 1098 this week, probably looking at getting into the 3,900s from 6,500. So ranks going in the right way. But thanks everyone for joining. Please do give the stream a like if you did enjoy it. And we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.